Underdog Fantasy is the place to play if you're a fan looking to cash in on some of your favorite athletes' performances. Available in over 30 states, including New York, California, and Texas. Just call your shot on higher or lower on 2 or more player stats for your chance to win real money. Use our promo code KFTV for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. So download the Underdog Fantasy app today and turn every bucket into a W.
I'm not upset, just sad that we had a 14-point lead and we couldn't close the deal, man. But, we get to face this team a week from today, but it all comes down to playing critical defense, man, in the fourth quarter. You're watching Wiggins just knock down 3 after 3 after 3, and this is something I talked about early in the season, man. When they faced off against the Celtics, this defense has to be better at guarding threes, man. This team allowed SGA just to get to their point, get down into the teeth of the defense. They allowed Lou Dort to do the same thing, Jalen Williams. And next thing you know, you see Aaron Wiggins just lighting it up from downtown and just swinging the entire momentum, man. Defense was what, lost this game for the Knicks. I mean, it's something that they got to work on. But at the end of the day, man, it's just another step in the direction for them being ready for the postseason. So I'm not too upset. I wanted this win. But it lived up to the billing, man. The game lived up to the billing.
Yeah, I'm tight, man. I'm tight. We were there. We were there. We were right there. We had it. These guys, they fought. They set a good tone. Wingstop came out, set a good tone. Mikal Bridges, great start. OG, great start. Josh Hart, grit. They brought New York grit, man, for 3 quarters. They brought New York grit on the road in hostile territory, ready to win this game. But when the pressure was turned up in the fourth, a lot of things between, the OG injury, he came back, the Jalen Williams dunk, I thought that changed everything in terms of the momentum of this game.
That was the momentum right there.
And, just the turnovers, a couple turnovers by Brunson, empty possessions. And, you had guys like Aaron Wiggins exploding in the fourth. J-Dub, after that dunk, he came alive. The MVP caliber candidate, SGA, he came alive. And, 37-19. 37-19. Give credit to OKC's defense. I thought they were there. They battled. And they tightened up when they needed to in the fourth. And conversely, the Knicks defensively, too many breakdowns, a lot of miscommunication, maybe fatigue, if you want to say that as well. They just weren't there. They just weren't there in crunch time. And as you said, something to build upon as they look forward into this new year and into the second half of the season.
Yeah, and look, if you want the silver lining of this, it's not like the Knicks got completely wiped like it was game 1 against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Offense was clicking, man. I mean, we were getting everything that we wanted. This team, the game, especially in the first quarter, they were just trading buckets between the Thunder and the Knicks. And then next thing you know, we started to get on that breakaway run in the second quarter. And even when the Thunder came out, went on an 8-0 run in the third to start off, going against the Knicks miscommunication, Knicks were able to compose themselves and get right back in the game and extend that lead again. You want to talk about getting out of gas? I think that's part of it. You want to talk about not getting enough bench scoring? That's also part of it. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about the Stars not playing good enough defense? That's also part of it. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about the Knicks getting away from their offensive plan, which was working for 3 quarters, which was Brunson just facilitating to everybody else and everybody else feasting? They went away from that too. There's a lot of things that went wrong in that fourth quarter. Even when Tibs benched Bridges and Brunson, you didn't have anybody that could really initiate or anyone that could, just was an offensive threat out there. And so I thought that was an ill-advised move on Tibs' part. So there's a lot of things in the fourth quarter that, for the next game, that when we see them next week in our house, things to correct. And hopefully we have Deuce McBride back next week too. I thought not having Deuce out there was also a problem. I know the Thunder didn't have Caruso as well, but not having McBride out there, also didn't help when you need a spark off the bench. We didn't have his 3-point shooting or his perimeter defense.
I didn't think this team went enough to the big man. Brunson came back He willed them what he didn't have in shooting. He gave them in playmaking, especially in the first half. He was brilliant as a maestro. He was great. And you could tell that the calf was still bothering him. He didn't have the same explosiveness. He didn't have the lift on his jumpers. All his jumpers were short. The floaters, a lot of them were bouncing off. And, those things happen some nights. But I thought in particular the jumpers just falling short was indicative of the calf injury and just not having that same explosiveness. And then on the other side, on the other hand, you got to exert so much energy trying to get past Lou Dort and J-Dub and all these good defenders that the Thunder have. They're a good defense. So with that being said, you've got an MVP candidate on the team, man. And these are the games that I'm fearful of with Karl Anthony Towns, man. The games where they put J-Dub on him, they put the size at the smaller player, but a guy that can get under him, like our guest Jacob was talking about in terms of how the Thunder use J-Dub, and he did a good job on that. You saw a lot of times where, as soon as Karl Anthony Towns make a move, you got 4 Thunder collapsing on him, maybe not of getting the benefit of the whistle. And so, him not getting into a flow also hurt this team to where in crunch time, they didn't go to him enough. I still would have been force feeding him to help us because Brunson just wasn't 100%. So they should have been. I'm still going to the big man and let him make a play. But instead in the fourth quarter, you have them draining the shot clock, getting empty possessions, bad shots, bad turnovers, settling for threes. Instead, hey, dump it down to the big man, let him force the issue. Maybe he forces some rotations. You get better shots in rhythm, or you go to him and he can score. Go to your MVP guy, go to your big man. That discrepancy. The refs ain't helping a 44-5 discrepancy, right? And I'm seeing fans in the chat saying, "Oh, Tibs needs to develop. What do you want to develop? Precious played a good game. You had no McBride. I thought Shaman, although he was missing his shots, is still decent, but it's not good enough. It's just not good enough.
And then Campaign didn't really give you anything.
Campaign didn't give you anything. So what more do you want? What's Kolek going to do? He's not going to go out there and score 36 like in the G League. This is the NBA, man. Pressure cooker situation. If Cole is going to come in, I'm going to put him in the second quarter, see how he responds. Not in the fourth quarter when you're in the middle of a dogfight and these guys are barreling down your back. No, you're not putting Kolek in the game. You're trying to buy that time to get Brunson back in the game. Brunson came back in, and he wasn't as good. Bottom line, you went to your A guys, and the A guys did not deliver. Brunson didn't deliver. Towns didn't deliver. They didn't go to Towns. They didn't even go to Bridges. Red hot, Mikal Bridges.
That's the one that bothers me the most.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because this guy was flaming hot in the first half.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the fourth quarter. Dude, you give him 3 attempts in the fourth quarter. This guy was knocking down everything. Even the one that he had on Hartenstein, I think it was in the fourth quarter. Gives him a little shoulder, knocks it down baseline. I'm like, dude, why are we going away from Bridges? This is the guy that was carrying everything. We just went away from the entire system that was giving the Knicks the win, all right? Like, we didn't pass the ball that much in the fourth quarter. We had guys cutting left and right between Hart, OG, Cat, everybody was cutting. We were finding everybody throughout 3 quarters, and then you decide to say, let's go a little bit of ISO, and then, and that's how the game got back into balance.
LD, go ahead, man. I'll mute you, Mike. LD.
You hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. How you feeling?
Good. All right, so first of all, that 9-game winning streak, we can't keep using that. Like, we did not play any contending roster. Apart from the Minnesota Timberwolves, we played no contending rosters that entire winning streak. Orlando was heavily injured. New Orleans is heavily injured. We played the Washington Wizards twice. That I appreciate the wins, but we're not going to use that as contenders as bragging points. But I do have a question about the statement that you made that we gave up the depth for the trade to get this roster that we have. So our plan going forward, because it's not going to get any better, right? We're going to extend Mikal Bridges, and we're going to be salary top heavy for at least the next 2-3 years. So what you're saying is our plan is going forward to have consistently our starters playing more minutes than anybody else in the league for the next 2 or 3 years, and that's our plan to win a championship.
No, the plan is to have your bench perform in the minutes that they're given. losing McBride, you lost McBride to injury for 2 games, and you lost McBride to inefficiency for a number of games now. That hurts your bench. He's the best, most consistent scorer off of your bench and most reliable defender off the bench. How many teams have been relying on Landry Shamet to help them off the bench? The fact that we need this guy to play major minutes, like good bench minutes for us, is an indication that our bench isn't that good. It's Landry Shamet at the end of the day, bro.
I would agree with you if Alex Caruso was not also on the bench and Chet Holmgren was not also on the bench, and no one who came off OKC's bench tonight has averaged more than 9 points their entire career. They played a rookie tonight.
Yes,
right.
I get that. I get that. I get that. But if you're going into the fourth quarter up by 8 and they cut this thing down to 2, where else are you going? Now we're going to blame him for not playing these guys early in the game.
It's not really about the blaming though, but we're not just looking at this as a snapshot vacuum one situation.
Okay.
We played the Washington Wizards 2 games in a row.
Yes.
Mikal Bridges played 46 minutes, right? In a game that we gave up 132 points. Yes, there was overtime, but we played the Wizards and Mikal Bridges played. Again, we're looking at this from the spectrum of contenders.
Yes.
Right? And there's no other contender that is not salary top heavy. Boston is salary top heavy. They don't play 7 players though. Right? Nuggets are salary top heavy.
Nuggets?
Every contender is, yes, they're salary top heavy.
But they're looking for a trade right now, bro. Because their players suck.
But they're still salary top heavy and they still play their bench.
Yeah, because they have no choice, but they're losing.
We also don't have a choice.
We also
don't have a choice though because we're playing the most minutes in the league. That's not okay.
Bro, I'm not accepting that these guys playing minutes is okay. What I am saying is that I understand the predicament that the coach is in terms of when to play these guys when you're trying to win a game. You're on the road. In a pressure cooker.
So this coach has been in this predicament his entire career because this is what he keeps doing. I'm not mad at your point though. I'm not mad at your point.
I thought the bench last year was good last year. The bench was good last year, wasn't it?
The bench, but most of them didn't get to play until people were injured though. Like it's not like Hartenstein really played until Mitch was out. Like it's like we this is not new to us. It's not like this is not just with the Knicks though. This is also with the Wolves, with the Bulls. And again, I love a lot of things that Tom Thibodeau's doing, but we can't ignore some of the points that the callers are making about the fact.
I'm not ignoring it. All I'm saying is that on nights when Cam is producing, you play him. If Shamet was out there producing, you play him. If you're gonna give Cole minutes and he's out there producing, you play him. They didn't have it, bro.
So from your perspective, again, the bench is not going to change much going forward in the next because we're going to extend players, we're going to extend Bridges, we're going to be salary top heavy again.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to have a good enough bench where we don't play 7 players through this championship run?
It's certainly possible. It's certainly possible. I don't think the back end of this rotation is locked in for this championship run. I think they will make tweaks on the years that they have draft picks. Maybe they pick someone who can come in and be a better contributor. Maybe they get improvement from within. Maybe it's Kolek that takes the next step or Dakia that takes the next step up. Maybe.
Do you think that jumps? So let's say Kolek plays in the next year.
Yeah.
The difference between him not playing this season and whatever minutes he's going to play next season, is that jump going to be that drastic where he shouldn't get any minutes this year? Because again, we're going to have to depend on these people in this run because the salary's not going to change.
Yeah, we'll have to see, man. But you will have a little bit of money to sign if you're under the second apron. You may have a vet contract that you can dole out there. Maybe they bring up T.J. Warren. Like, who knows? I don't think this is going to be the last look that you see of this bench.
I see. Got you. Well, I hope T.J. Warren is playing the same way he played in the bubble because if he's one that we're counting on, I don't know, man.
But you're making my point. But you're making my point. You're saying if we're going to rely on T.J. Warren, then we're in trouble, right? But tonight we're relying on Campaign and Landry Shamet to help us against the number 1 seed in the West, the best team in the league.
Like some callers have mentioned, example is OKC tonight, right? There are players who played tonight who haven't really played this season because they were adjusting for the Alex Caruso and other injuries that they don't, that they did not plan for.
But their players had it tonight. There's nights when Campaign has it, correct? Has Campaign been bad all year?
But we're still playing 7, though. It's not like we're going deeper than 7, 8 max.
But who else?
So
are you
whether
gonna
they have
play?
it or not, we're still using the same rotation.
Who else are you gonna play? You played Shamit, you played Campaign, you had no Deuce, and you played Precious.
You're going to have to play enough players where all your starters are not leading the league in minutes. That's the point. You're going to have to figure it out.
And then I don't know, man. You played Shamit, you played Payne, you played Precious tonight. You played 8 tonight, did you not?
Did you? You played them for 7 minutes?
But how much longer are you going to play them?
You got to figure it out because it's not just tonight.
Are you so in the fourth quarter? Explain this to me. In the fourth quarter, what should Tibs have done there at that point when they got the lead to 2?
Before you got to the fourth quarter, did you hear what the broadcasters were saying the entire game?
No, because I was enjoying them beat out of this team and winning for 3 quarters.
Did you hear what they were saying even when we were beating them?
I didn't hear. I was at the watch party, man.
I'll tell you what they were saying. They kept emphasizing the amount of minutes that the starters were playing. And then when we got to the fourth quarter and we couldn't hit our shots, they referenced back to the first quarter and said their legs are tired. That's why they can't hit these shots. They're gassed. And again, it's not just today. It's not. Mikal Bridges played 46 minutes against the Wizards. And then the next game played like 40. Like, you can't keep it up. If you're going to say that you gave up the depth in the trade, fine. That might mean that you don't want to win a championship if you're going to depend on your starters this much, though. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I'm not arguing with you, man. I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is that I think the coach is in a tough spot. And I agree that if this game, you're coming down to 8. Now, some of you guys are saying, okay, these guys should have played earlier. Okay.
CP, I rock. Trust me, I rock with Tibs. I'm just worried, though. That's all I'm saying. I'm worried. You got to figure something out. But it's all good, though. We'll figure it out the next time.
All right.
It's love.
Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. Love is love, man.